Hey guys, I'm in my backyard and I'm on the hunt. I know we're gonna find it, but we've gotta be quiet. It's the middle of the night. The moon is barely out. Let's go look. I seen some this morning. I'm hoping that it's still around here. We keep a sharp eye out. We ought to find it. I think I'm getting closer. Might be hiding over here in the corner. Oh yeah, that's what I'm looking for, tomatoes. There's a million different techniques on how to cut tomatoes open and how to save tomato seeds, and frankly I really don't think there is. I think that it varies upon tomato. These are German Johnsons and all heirloom, and here's some heirloom Mexican midgets. They're a cherry type tomato, and I really don't think that it matters as long as you get the seeds out. It really doesn't matter how you get a hold of them. So there's a couple of basic principles. First of all, use a good knife, and put a plug in here. This is a Victorinox Swiss-made knife. I don't know if you can see that, but I would highly recommend getting one of these. So just a little plug there for you. But let's start with the Mexican midgets. Here's what I like to do. They're the funnest. They're the easiest for me. I cut the bottom of them off like that and expose the two pockets on the left and the right. Come on and focus. And squeeze them into a cup. And then wiggle them around like that. And here's the best part. Here's why I like collecting tomato seeds. I eat the rest of it. It's so good. That's what makes it fun for me, is eating the rest of these seeds. But you know, everybody collects seeds differently. Here's what the meat of it looks like on the inside. Everybody collects seeds differently. I do it in whatever way I can to get the that's so good, to get the seeds out. It really doesn't matter. What matters most is that you save as many of the seeds out of them as what you can. And the Mexican midgets, or these little cherry tomato type tomatoes, are the easiest to save seeds out of. So if you want to get started, you're a newbie and you're wanting to get started on saving seeds, it's a good thing to start with. One very important thing that you can't forget to do when you're changing plants is you never want to forget to rinse off your surface, your cutting surface, because then you'll get seeds mixed up and you'll throw yourself for a loop. But for me, I find the easiest way to do this is to cut the core out of them like this, or the heart. A lot of people call it a heart. Toss that off to the side. Cut them in half, maybe even in quarters, like that, and expose the seed pockets. And if you don't know where it is, I start slicing. Frankly, I don't care how I cut these things up. It really doesn't matter to me. There's only one there, and these things are so good. And I start working my way through. All the way around. You can feel on the outside of them, you can feel the area that's soft. I'll show you. Let me eat this one. So good. See how I'm working that out with my finger? But you can feel on the outside of these where it's hard, it's soft from this pocket, and then you have a rib, and then it's another soft spot on the outside. And you can do it however you want, but look at this. Pop it open like this, and look inside. You have your seed pocket. So there's no right way to do this. Everybody says there's a technique. The goal is to just get it out. So that's how I do it. Let me show you one more time. Cut the top of it off like that. It also exposes where the seed pockets are. Takes a little bit of the guesswork out of it. Cut it open. You can just fold it like this. Run your thumb in there. And just dump it out. But my favorite part about collecting seeds, as long as it's not dinner time, is eating the tomato. Alright, I'm going to finish this up and then I'll come back to you in a minute. Okay, so this is what we have, harvested off of one German Johnson tomato, and this is from the Mexican midgets. So you see that? So what I like to do is simply write what the tomato is. That way I can keep track of it. And then cover the cup with something. And a coffee filter works fine for me. The goal of covering this is to keep any, well, first of all, is to keep any kind of parasites out or flies from coming along and laying eggs. And then secondly is to keep the smell down, because it will cause a problem when you start to ferment this. After a few days, I think I've had this in for 4 or 5 days now, this is what it looks like. And this is some Mexican midget seeds that have been fermenting now for a while. And the easiest way to clear this out is to rinse them in the sink. So let's show you that right now. So what you do is you fill this up with water, kind of swish it around just a little bit, and then dump it out. And you do this repetitively until you get all the pulp out of the cup and you're left with just the seeds. Looking down in there, you can see that no more seeds are floating. They're all sinking to the bottom. That means they're all good seeds. Next thing you do is just take a plate with parchment paper. Don't use wax paper or any kind of a paper that it can't separate from, and it'll stick to and you won't get it off. But some kind of a parchment paper or wax paper. Sometimes it takes a spoon. I like to use a spoon and just get in there and scoop them out. And you're left with them in a clump. And it's okay if they get stuck together in this clump. But if you can't get them apart, that's okay. But do your best to spread it apart. And then the other great thing about using this parchment paper is you can write on here what you have. And let it set. And it'll take a couple of days, and after setting for a couple of days, you'll end up with this. Here I have some black crim seeds that I have let set, and you can see that some of them are still clumped together, and they're very easy once they're dry to just roll them between your fingers and they come apart. So there you have it. I hope this has been helpful and you've learned a little bit of something from me. And the biggest thing that I want you to know is there's really no wrong way to do it. As long as you're fermenting them, there's no wrong way to cut open your fruit and save the seeds.
If you found this video to be helpful, informative, or otherwise entertaining, don't forget to subscribe. And as always, remember to smile for a stranger today. You'll both be glad you did.